Here's why the Bard is the best character class to play in Neverwinter Nights. Neverwinter Nights core, no spoilers, going through the solo adventures. You're the primary character. You're a party of one. This is different than previous games where we see Baldur's Gate, Siege, BG2, where you have your main tune, you have your main character, and certainly you can solo those games. But those games and Dungeons & Dragons in itself is built around the concept of a party. Every party member has a role to fulfill, and when they come together and complement each other, that allows you to take on some pretty amazing challenges. So what we see in Baldur's Gate is a party of different character classes, so you have that combination. Neverwinter Nights, the core campaign, the secondary campaigns, it's just you. Now, there are some limited NPCs to the numbers that you can have, usually one. There might be some temporary joins in the moment. And certainly you have summons, various summons that you can cast and you can utilize if you're an arcane user or perhaps a divine user, or you have a couple of clicky magic items. But you're not running around with a party of 4 or 5 adventurers, and it's your primary character. So within that, the next way to approach, we have that framework. The next way to approach Neverwinter Nights is, and they're both correct, Dungeons & Dragons 3.5, 3.0, 3.x is just a numbers DC-based game. You jack things up enough, plus everything up enough, and you'll be able to just hack your way and beat through everything. That is one way to approach it. You can develop some very, very powerful character classes, essentially just brute forcing your way through the adventures to the end. The opposite way to explore it is, what about side quests? What about using stealth? What about using magic? What about exploring areas that are traditionally not combat? No spoiler, but I'm going to jump in just with that framework. In the core module, after the academy is burned to the ground and you're kind of in the Neverwinter Nights city core, there's a number of interesting things to explore. NPCs, different areas. There's no combat, and a lot of players will just kind of bypass it because you want to get to the actual adventure, so to speak. But if you're playing a certain character class, there's interesting things to encounter. So if we step away from the min-max for a moment, and even if your character is not overly optimized, the numbers pile up very fast due to the limitations of the D&D 3.x system, you're still pretty powerful, certainly powerful enough to beat the published modules and the published adventures. But in playing a bard, you get a little bit of everything, and it's not diluted by stacking on other classes or prestige classes. When we play a bard, you've got access to some combat. You can utilize some weapons. You might take a feat for exotic weapons or martial weapons. You've got some light armor. You have the ability to duel, to fight. You have the ability to cast bard spells. Some of them mirror arcane, some of them mirror divine, and some are specific just for the bard. A few of these spells do deal damage, but a lot of these spells are influence or interactive spells. Buffs, debuffs, ways to augment your character, ways to augment the situation. So you got a couple of spell clickies that you can utilize. You can approach combat, you can approach spell clickies. You also have Bard Song, which the different songs and based on your ranks and perform, that's another option to explore the game through. And then, of course, all of the skills that you have as a bard. Different ways of bluffing, different ways of intimidating, different ways of crafting, utilizing spell checks, utilizing use magic device. We're going to put that aside for a moment. Stealth, pickpocket. You have all of these different things that you can try throughout the game where when you get into combat to break things up, rather than just hit click and charge, do you feel like trying to pull stealth? Do you feel like trying to just use magic? Do you feel like trying to use a little bit of everything? Do you feel like trying to pickpocket everything? Use magic device. Now, this gets a little bit broken. It's not like it's free. You've got to pay the skill points. But what we see in D&D 3.x is with the modifiers and everything for classes that get use magic device, playing rules as written, you can very quickly override and use almost anything in the game. Yes, at the lower levels, you're going to be a little weak sauce. But as soon as you hit the mid levels, especially if you can use magic device, in that moment, you can become a wizard. You can cast scrolls. You can burn scrolls, even high-level scrolls. Well, Fritz, they cost a lot of gold. Right, but like all role-playing type games that are in that focus, after a while, you've got gold coming out everywhere. You've just got massive amounts of gold. You're not even like trying to search for gold, and you have gold. Buying high-level spells, buying fun spells to try when combined with stealth, when combined with Bard Song, when combined with buffs and all these other things, for that encounter, you can whip out a lot of stuff and have a lot of fun. Utilizing use magic device, swords, weapons, class-specific items, no spoilers, that other classes are designed to use, you can utilize. So as you uncover magic items in the game, and what's D&D without magic items? As you uncover magic items, normally, traditionally what happens is, if it fits your character class, you'll utilize it. As you level up, you'll discard it and get better magic items. But anything outside of your character class, you just sell for gold. Well, now you can try a whole bunch of really, really interesting and different combinations. And then when you get kind of tired of it, sell it and get the gold. Or if you see a cool item to buy, you can utilize it. Naturally, there's certain bard skills. And I pushed up to the Neverwinter Nights playlist here, specifically focusing on a bard. But if I'm playing through a game at a casual pace, where I want to go on all the quests, I want to talk to all the NPCs, I want to interact, find those hidden areas, and really dig deep into it, it's nice to have all of those skills. It's nice to have the Bard Song. It's nice to have the spells. It's nice to have various items that I can utilize. I've got a good amount of a little bit of everything to play that game. So now, yes, absolutely, we have our favorite character classes. I mean, I also regularly play fighters. I regularly play sorcerers. We all have that favorite character class. But in the comments, you're feeling the funnest, most immersive character class to play. The Bard? Agree or disagree?